we wanted to be not just out of the city, away from the city, because we felt like that as a family, we just needed to be
That's right. Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And we needed to be in our own place. And we had like, you know, we have like, what, 5 years left with our now teenagers who are going to be going off. And we just wanted the last part of our family kind of life to be focused on that first. And then we'll figure work out.
Yeah. Ventura County's awesome.
And it's been amazing. The last 2 years have been amazing, but making that shift has been amazing. But I've also kind of seen like everybody's getting free of the like, oh, I have to be in LA.
Yeah.
You don't have to be in LA. You could be in Austin. You could be in Nashville.
Yeah.
My other brother moved to Nashville. Same thing. He's like, I need to focus on my family, and work will be what work will be. And if I fail because I'm focused on my family, I'll be glad I failed.
Then you didn't really fail.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's been cool. I do think there's this like thing happening where everyone's finding like other places where they can function, and they realize like that when you get out of the bubble, you realize like, oh, I don't need to be in LA. You can still be in LA if you want to be.
Yeah.
And because it's an amazing town. But there was this like, it does get a hold on you for a minute where you're like, I could never live anywhere else. Then you go somewhere else and you're like, I actually could live a lot of places.
I think the grass is just always greener. Because,
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
you know, I grew up in LA.
Yeah.
Like, I was born and raised here. And so, like, for me, I mean, I've always loved LA. Pandemic kind of changed my views a little bit on it a little bit. But it was never super exciting to me because it was old hat, because it was already mine, you know? Like, you came from somewhere else. You came from somewhere else. And they're like, dude, LA.
Where are you from?
I'm from Chicago.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Chicago's
And you're
great.
Baltimore, Maryland?
Maryland.
Maryland,
So really, southern Maryland is more of like it's the southern part of the state, and it's very kind of country farmland.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you hear the glitz and glam of Hollywood, I mean, it's, you know,
Oh, yeah.
the grass is
It's a
very
dream.
green. Yeah.
Well, everything was happening out here too. So it was like you had to come here to like do something. With
And from
yourself,
Maryland,
too.
you never came out here. So when the first time I came out here, we were signed.
Well, real fast, are we rolling?
Not a damn chance. Not a damn chance.
I'll always have a very warm relationship with Los Angeles because I came in the right way. I came like my dreams were starting to, you know, they were within reach.
It was the catalyst, or it was part of the catalyst.
It was part of what I think the success, like I really believe it was part of my success was coming here with the right, I don't know, I was like really excited to meet everyone, and I think I still am that way. Just like to be friends with people. But then I met my wife here, had my kids here. So I'm always going to have, and I think I'll always have a home in California, in Southern California, in Los Angeles, whether it's in the city or not.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to beat the weather.
The weather.
And you know, like I've been all over the States, and the weather here is just like,
and the good vibes.
Vibes.
People
weather.
are like, it gets a bad rap because the pandemic. We saw these movements happening, and it was like, well, yeah, in LA, more people are like extreme left. That's also funny how we define the world now. It's like we define it right and left, which is not really reality when you're in the street.
Yeah, because nobody actually is. It seems like the very loud people that I've never met are very left or very right, but I've never met any of them.
Right.
Everyone I meet,
you see them online.
Yes, but I've never met.
It's good
them.
content. It's good content, but like in real life, we're all just interacting with each other, and we don't even really know. Like so, and I think everyone's kind of actually in the middle.
I think so.
We're like, we'd agree on some stuff, we disagree on some stuff, but we'd still be like, well, this is a good burger.
Yeah.
Like, where are you from? Oh, I'm from here. And like, so at the end of the day, like, oh, you're Catholic, he's Protestant, he's Jewish. No one cares.
Who
Like,
gives a shit?
right? So that's reality.
Yeah.
But then online, where most of us live for 5 hours a day, probably if you average out people's time on their phones.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably the low end.
That's probably low, yeah. So I think LA gets a bad rap because of the content, but everybody here is nice, friendly, excited to know what you do, where you're from. They're welcoming. It's like Southern California has a vibe. People are like nice.
Well, I've always felt like growing up. So I'm from the other side of the hill. I'm from the valley.
Yeah.
And growing up, you could always tell who's from here and who's not. If you're from here, you didn't honk and you waved.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like, so moving to Austin, everybody is so nice.
Yeah.
Everybody's so polite.
They are.
It's like real Southern hospitality. And I moved there right during or right at the beginning of everyone moving there from like New York and San Francisco and everything. And I found something very interesting. I realized that when you move to LA, the average person who's moving here, because it had the rap of like, you know, everyone being kind of like a douchey or whatever, to fit in, everyone kind of became douchey.
They acted douchey.
Yes.
Like, this
But
is
when-
how I'm supposed to be.
And when they moved, and when those same people moved to Austin, they thought you're supposed to be you're supposed to have hospitality.
Like Southern
So everybody's nice.
hospitality.
And so it's just kind of funny.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, how like it's literally it's like it's the same people. They look the same. But they're just nice here, and I know where they moved from.
I actually think there's like some science to like how many, like a certain percentage of people are like psychotic, right? Like there's like an actual like number. I've like read it somewhere. There's like a certain like 5% or maybe less. Like there's some small percentage of people that are just psychos. And then there's like, it's like a garden variety of personality types that you're going to run into. And I think the percentages are probably the same in every city.
Yeah, probably.
And we just have a perception of like what we expect to find somewhere, we find.
Yeah.
So I came here with a perception of this place being like cool, magical, cool. Everybody's cool. Everybody's so, and that's been my experience. It's like I've made more friends here, and I've never had. But I think going back to where we started, we were very optimistic, and I think optimism is a thing.
Optimism is the only thing that trumps pessimism.
Yeah.
You know, and I do think that your world is completely shaped by the way that you view it. You know, so I mean, optimism is you're very rarely going to be optimistic and then be let down.
Yeah.
There are anecdotal times when you wish something would have been a little bit different. But if you go into a situation, any situation, like really accepting of what's coming and really excited, you're more likely to get the payoff you want than if you go into it expecting it to suck.
Yeah, and then there's a difference in disappointment and devastation, right? So if something's disappointing, that's make sure you differentiate if something's devastating or if it's disappointing, because there are people who are like living in devastation where they're like, this is devastating, and you're like, well, I actually think it's probably more like disappointment.
Yeah.
But that goes back to which on the spectrum of optimism and pessimism, where are you? And actually, I think in life, if you can figure out where you land on that spectrum and nudge yourself in the direction of okay, so if you're the ultimate optimist, that can also not serve you. That can be, you could probably
you have to dabble in realism
a little bit more too, a little bit more, right? You can nudge yourself over to where you're like, okay, I got to be realistic, but optimistic is a real thing. And I probably am somewhere over there.
Yeah.
But so when something's disappointing, it's real.
Yeah.
But it's not devastating. You will survive.
Yeah.
You will live.
It's not
on.
devastating to not land that audition. That's disappointing. It's devastating to get hit by a fucking car.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, lights out. But yeah.
But it doesn't surprise me that I mean, you guys have been a band now for 20 something years, right?
30 years next year.
30 years. I was trying to do the math last night because I think I
96.
first heard you guys in like the 7th grade or something like
Yeah.
that.
We're
and I was
old
like, fuck,
now.
how
It's
many?
weird.
I was like,
That's
was that 30 years
insane,
ago? I was in the 7th grade.
Yeah.
I don't even know. But it doesn't surprise me that you're the type of person who prescribes to optimism, because we don't. The whole point of this podcast is to sit down with people who are like, you know, at the top of their field and talk about like what the mindset it's taken to like, whether it's stand the test of time or overcome adversity. And the one thing we have not come across yet is a very a hard-headed pessimist.
Yeah.
We have not yet found a successful pessimist.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, would love to sort of like get into like, sort of the backstory a little bit of like, so you got signed obviously to a label in LA when you're living in the southern part of Maryland. Like how's even the band start? How do you guys get into music?
So I grew up in a town in a county, so Charles County in southern Maryland, in a town, the closest town, which we lived about, probably 15 miles away from, was called La Plata. And then the closest town to that, which was a bigger town, was Waldorf, which we always kind of said we were from Waldorf because we did eventually move up to Waldorf when we started the band, and we started there. The town I lived in proximity to was about 5,000 people, 3,000 to 5,000 people at the time. And then at Waldorf at the time was probably about 20,000 people, maybe a little less. That town now, Waldorf, is now I think about 80,000 people. So it's grown a lot, which is really cool. They have a minor league baseball team there, the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. They have, it's really grown. So it's pretty cool. I was just there. Just went back and was there a couple weeks ago. How we started was just like any other kids, listening to the radio, looking at magazines in the 90s. Obviously, we didn't have, the internet wasn't really popping yet.
Yeah.
And we saw it, and at the time, I think because my family had dissolved, things were really hard at home. We found a place to escape to with this idea that we could be in a band. So we started our band. It was It was always Good Charlotte.
Yeah.
Same band. And it became, I think, at the time now as an adult, and I see these like 15-year-old kids, I see it and go, oh, we were escaping all the terrible, things we had been through the previous like 5 years when my parents were just kind of falling apart and money was hard and my dad had left. And I think that was our escape. And then it became our obsession. And then that's what I think it takes to be successful, is obsession and, a relentless obsession with your goal. And so then we just started fully, everything was about the band.
Was this a middle school band, high school band?
High school.
High school?
So 15, 16 was when we started. And then that became our focus. School was whatever. Moved out when we were 17, 18. Finished school kind of. Had to go to like night school and stuff and get, but we did graduate.
That's dope.
And then just started every hour, every minute, everything went into that ultimate goal of like, how do we do this? Because when you're from there, you don't know anything about the music industry. So we're reading magazines, we're reading books. We got All You Need to Know About the Music Industry, About the Music Business by Donald Passman, which is now in its like 15th edition. And I know Donald Passman now, and I've told him this a million times. Like that book really helped us.
Really? That's so interesting.
Because
so you were like, you already had because obviously you've what's the word? You've transcended just music and with businesses and things like that. So you always have had sort of a business mind, I take it. Because I was, playing in bands and practicing 7 days a week, and I was not reading about how to, do anything like that.
Well, I would say you're like a true artist. Even in your food, you're an artist. So you're focused on less on the procedural of, you've had to learn how the restaurant functions, how the business functions, because you will die if you didn't. But the art led the way first. Like, how does it taste? How does it look? How does it feel? What's the experience? What is it like when you sit down? Like, that's more important than the business. We tended to come from a more work. I think my dad was like we always worked 2 jobs, and it was drilled into us that you work. So work was first. Fun was later.
Just blue collar, just hard work.
So we always had like this blue collar approach to the work, and we never looked at ourselves as artists. And to this day, I've struggled to say I'm an artist.
Really?
Still to this day. And I know that I am. I know that I have an artistic function, but I would say the work function's bigger. It takes up more space in my like brain or in my awareness. And I think we always approach things more mechanical. Like, how does that work? How do you do that?
Crazy.
And then, so like the first business we ever had was in middle school. We were always pretty entrepreneurial, but we sold candy and we like did really well. Like,
That's sick.
made hundreds of dollars
Damn.
a week.
And back then that was a lot.
Dude,
Yeah.
fucking early 90s, bro.
You hustling
And we
candy.
got it's so much so that we got suspended and expelled from middle school.
Oh, wow.
And we had to go and get reinstated, and like it was like a
Your
thing.
permanent record just said, for what? Hustling.
Selling candy.
Hustling
yeah.
candy.
We became obsessed because we had never touched that kind of money. Like
Yeah.
we've never had that kind of income, and we were just killing it. And we
Damn.
became, and it made us like not only love school. We were going to school. We were going home and taking inventory and going and buying different candy and going to school and looking at our cost of goods and looking at our
epic, dude.
profit margin.
You were doing your P&Ls. And
Yeah.
epic.
And we were figuring out like, oh, if we increase the price of that 5 cents because we're selling more of those, people will probably accept a 5 cents bump, but they wouldn't. You know what I mean? So we were like doing the math on the business, and because we grew up, we didn't have a lot of money. My parents
Yeah.
never had money, and it was always a problem. Money was always an obstacle. Everything was like $50 too short. So that was our first business, and to this day, we still talk about that candy business.
And you and your brother did that together.
Yeah, we did
So
everything
you guys have
together.
been doing everything together.
Together.
Amazing.
Yeah. So everything we approached together, we would always put our heads together and we would figure out what each of us did, and we'd go and we'd, now looking at it as a business owner, as someone who's runs multiple companies, I look at what we did back there, and it was the best, not only one of the best experiences, but also lit a fire in us entrepreneurially that we never put out. But we learned stuff. I was always in sales. I would go around and talk to everyone what they want and
So sick.
like how much would they like, get a feel for the market and what people wanted and how much would they spend on it. And then we'd go back and we would take it and we'd go out and we had this like very cool business and until it got shut down. And the band wasn't much different. We it's a different business model, but like we were always focused on like we would throw our own shows and we would market them and we'd go out and we'd do flyers and we'd get people to come and afterwards we'd recap and we would like download how it went, what can we do different, what can we do better, and we noticed that song people liked it, that one was harder, people didn't really vibe with that one, and we would continually build the set list. And it was always original, so we were writing really fast. We'd have to learn how to write songs really fast. So in a week, we'd have 3 new songs to play at the next show. So we got really good at songwriting as a function of what we needed. And then as we got older and we moved out at 18, we ended up in Annapolis because Jimmy's Chicken Shack was a band that was on the radio in the 90s, and they were local. And that's where they were from. So we went up there and we found them. We found Jimmy. He was playing at he was hanging at a bar. We heard he hung out there. Like I don't know how we were like making our way, and we went and started hanging at this bar and we met him. And then we started playing at this bar because they had an open mic night. And then we got a gig at the bar every Monday night. We'd play, and we needed 3 hours of music. So we would do 2 sets, and we were just writing songs just so we had enough music to play, talk a little, tell some jokes, do something, play another song. And we like figured out how to fill 3 hours so that we could keep this gig, because there were some radio DJs that hung out there. And we were just like hustling anything we could do to get in front of people, to meet people. And it was fucking grind.
Is it the same, was back then when you were just pumping out this music, was it the same style and genre of music that we know from Good Charlotte now, or was it a little bit different vibe back then?
No, same. Just more acoustic.
go.
Same. A lot of the same songs that were on our first record were songs we were playing
Oh, wow.
in
Sick.
those bars. And you still hear it today. Like our latest record, Motel du Cap, is you can hear those little bits and pieces of like what you would hear in those acoustic bar songs, you know. I think later on we got more into like the punk thing because we were playing with certain bands, and we got kind of captivated by that. And there is a heavier side to our band that I really like. There's a softer side to our band that I think is really the core of what we've always done.
Interesting.
I like how you like basically figured out the algorithm naturally. By just like, you know, all your knowledge with business and stuff and growing up with your brother. You just kind of like figured out what songs worked. So you're like, okay, we got to make more like this, and just kind of like navigated through it. That's super awesome.
Yeah, I love. I mean, I was going to say a similar thing, and it's. I like that the idea that like you kind of, because everyone goes to school. We have to go to school. School's good for you kids, but you learn so much more with the ancillary experiences that goes along with going to school. You know, like I dropped out when I was 15 to go live on the road. I learned so much more in the back of a fucking van than I would have. Yeah, than I would have in history class or whatever. Yeah, I can't point to a map and tell you where's what, but that's okay. I don't really need to. But it's so fascinating to me that like you guys took your understanding that you taught yourselves about business, and then you applied it to the thing that you guys became passionate and obsessed with doing.
Yeah.
You know, because that I think is the real key to success, is to find something you do for free and monetize it.
That's right.
You know, and so it sounds like you found something that you guys would do for free. It was your escape. It was a thing you loved.
Yep.
But you had this, you know, this very rudimentary, which is only, I mean, Business 101 is generate more revenue than it costs to generate the revenue.
That's right.
If you can do
Make
that,
more than you spend.
That's it. That's how you don't need to know anything more to start a business than that.
Yep.
And to apply that, I think is, I think that's will be very, very inspiring for people at home who only know you guys as the punk rockers who've been around, you know, since forever, and like, but to know that like, yeah, you too can actually like put your head down, fucking work hard, and try to figure out how to get it done.
Every entrepreneur has to kind of come to terms with profitability.
Yeah.
At some point. And you can fake it till you make it, or whatever you want to call it. At some point, you have to be profitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's certain markets where profitability is less important, but I always say, like, to us, it's kind of more of like a proof. The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
And like at some point you have to like look at something and you're going like this. If you're beating your head against the wall and something's not profitable, you have to step back and have a real like moment to go like, should I still be doing this?
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just like off 10 degrees and I could go like, but there is something about that I think people don't give enough credit to when they're like, we're not profitable yet, but there's got to be a line towards it. I mean, it really depends on the business. Now with the experience I've had, I've seen different things, but at the very baseline, if you're doing something and it isn't paying you, you have to kind of at least see the line and go like,
why
it isn't paying me now?
Yeah.
Like, because we're in this band and it's early and we're investing. So that's one stage.
Yeah.
That's important. But it's a real thing. And there has to be proof.
At a certain point, being a starving artist is sexy, but there's nothing sexy about dying of starvation.
Yeah.
You know, and so like you need to, when you're creating art, you need to figure out there is a fine line between artistic integrity and monetization. And you need to sometimes look at your audience, you know, but again, in the very beginning, when you're in high school, whatever, you don't need to make a fucking penny, right?
No,
but eventually,
all going back into it.
But eventually, you know, if you want to pursue this as a career, you're going to need to figure out. And so, you know, like I've had this thing with restaurants before, where it's like the restaurant that I'm working on right now out in Austin. It's like, that couldn't have been my first restaurant, couldn't have been my second restaurant.
Right.
I needed to, and I've wanted to do it forever. Basically, imagine Scratch Bar on its own farm in the woods.
Wow.
You know, but
That's
like
cool.
it's gonna be fucking
sick.
awesome.
Yeah.
But that's my 30th restaurant, not the second.
Yeah.
And it's because, you know, you have to look and say, okay, if this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, then I have to figure out how to monetize it. If nobody will buy that, you know, movie, I need to write a movie that will get me some cred so that they'll come with me down this journey on the thing that they otherwise wouldn't trust the new guy on.
Yep.
You know? And so I do think that I think you're right. You need to figure out if you want to pursue it long term. If you're just doing it for fun, that's not really what we're talking about. But to pursue it for long term, you got to figure out a way that people will pay for it.
Yeah, and you got to always kind of stop and like try to recognize where you're really at versus where you think you're at or where you think you should be or where you think like there's reality, and then there's like also with artists, we can be a little bit, our imaginations can be really powerful. So we can think we're somewhere we're not. We can be completely unaware of the reality of the situation. So it's important to kind of always get grounded at each stage and with real information and make decisions based on where you're at. Meaning, like some people, I see young people sometimes who won't settle for some job in the meantime.
Yeah.
Like, well, you kind of got to have a job in the meantime.
Yeah.
I worked 2-3 jobs when we were trying to make it with our band up until I was about 20 years old.
To be able to fund it all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And because we didn't have anyone funding us.
Yeah.
And so we were literally doing it on our own. And I don't say that to sound like it was so hard. You do what you have to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you get grounded in reality and do what you have to do, it's better for you than not living in reality. And so being funded isn't always good because when someone else's money is funding your business, you can make unrealistic decisions because it's not your money.
I feel like
when
the
it's your
passion's
money,
not there too,
yeah.
you know?
And when it's every dollar is your favorite dollar because you earned it,
Yeah.
you don't spend it so easily on frivolous things.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
there's a time and a place to raise money, and there's a time and place not to raise money. And I say that all the time too. Like if somebody had come along and gave our band a bunch of money in the beginning, I don't know if we'd be the same band in the same place because we've always had this mentality that we have to go make it. And to this day, we were off for 7 years. So when we started back up, there was startup costs.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. It's like starting another business back up.
Yeah.
And we came out of our pocket. We didn't go to a label or go to someone and say, give us $1 million. We need to make this record. We need to do this. We need to go on this. We need to do this. But this record cycle has been incredible. And I think it's because of that.
Yeah.
Because we're self-funded still.
Self-funded, yeah.
And every show matters. Every song matters. Every interview matters.
Yep.
Because every single dollar that's funding us to be able to go around the world, it's very expensive, all the things, it started with us again.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, like, and it hasn't always been like that on every album cycle. You get into this flow like on your 4th or 5th record and you're used to certain things and, you know, career does this, right? You can get complacent or there's people in the middle that maybe shouldn't be, whatever.
Yeah.
When you get back to the core of what a business really is and what these things are, it really should be you making every decision and treating every dollar like it matters, like it counts. You know what I mean? So I do think there's something about self-funding that's really important.
I wanted to touch on, you said earlier that your father, he left.
Yeah.
How old were you when that happened?
It started, I'd say he kind of came and went a couple times. Around 12, 13 was when it really got real because they were having problems. My mom and my dad were always kind of having problems and money was a big stress.
Yeah.
So it always felt like we would get ahead a little bit and then we'd fall behind and we'd all felt it. Like we might get evicted or we might, and then they started having problems. And I also think they didn't have any tools. They didn't know how to talk. They didn't have, I think now there's so much, you could go on Instagram and you can find like marriage counselors.
Yeah. And just like little clips and stuff
And
that
you
can
get
help
like
you with
really
things.
helpful stuff.
Yeah.
None of that existed. Also, they were religious. So it was like, I think they felt like caged too. Like they couldn't have a good divorce
Yeah.
where they could just be like, hey, this isn't working.
But we could still be cool.
Let's figure it out. Maybe we shouldn't be together. So I think that it was up against them. But when he finally was gone, I think I was probably like 14 maybe. But he had already left a few times, so it was already kind of all broken up. And then that's when things got really bad because he left. My mom wasn't really great at managing the family.
Well, 2 young boys,
finances. Right? 4 of us.
4, yeah.
So an older brother, younger sister. The 4 of us really kind of went into our own world, and we like existed together, and it was almost like separate. Like our parents, they were over there fighting, and coming and going, and my mom would leave, and my dad would leave, and the 4 of us really had this like little world together.
Yeah, yeah.
And it stayed that way. Like we're all very close, and we've always been there for each other, and all 4 of us have had success, which is really cool.
Sick
to see. My sister's very successful. My older brother, we work together. He's very successful. He's in Nashville.
Oh, cool.
She's in DC. So yeah, by 14, I think he was gone, and then we went on the roller coaster ride of my mom. We were always like living with people, moving in, moving around, getting evicted. It was like a very roller coaster ride.
Great for a fucking songwriter and artist, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately,
yes.
You know, it does. I mean, nowadays people are, well, they're not even writing their songs all the time, but like, it's very difficult to write music that resonates with people if you just get dropped off in the new
You haven't
BMW,
suffered.
You know?
You got to suffer a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel too like, you know, if you don't really come from like a really well-balanced financial background and family, it does something. It shows you how to appreciate every single dollar that you make.
Forever.
You know, yeah. It's like you have a different sight on making money and having money. It's not like, oh, here it is. Like, it's going to forever come. Like, let me just spend it on everything. It's like, no, like, I'm going to be a little bit more strategic with what I do with this, you know?
Absolutely. And there's never been a moment in my life where from the minute I got my first big check that changed my life, that I wasn't doing better every year. So like I've always gone up, and
that's awesome.
It's funny because like the thing that most people know me for, which was like 2000 to 2000, I don't know, 11 or something, where we were on like a straight run, 2012, I don't know. I've actually had more success from that after that point.
Hell yeah.
Because I think we've never settled for like a day in our life where we felt like we'd accomplished anything. We were always on to the next kind of like, okay, what's the next job?
Yeah.
What's the next mountain to climb? What's the next thing to do? And I think that because I think we've always been responsible for ourselves.
Yeah.
And I do think that like that's again, when I say self-funded, like with businesses that self-fund when they start, it's not the only path, and there's certainly tons of examples of people who went and raised money and started a business and had tons of success. So I'm not holding it as like the only way, but for me, the backstop has always been me, and there's no safety net. So I think it's always kind of forced me and my brother to just go forward, be smart, work hard, and make more than you spend.
Yeah.
There's like not a damn chance that you can fail because there's no pillow.
You
It's
can't
like, you
fail.
gotta
Yeah,
go.
well, you know what the
not an
bottom
option.
is.
Yeah.
You've experienced the bottom, and you're just like, fuck that. There's not a damn chance I'm getting back there.
Yeah.
0, right? And when I remember in like around 2012, 2013, the whole industry had gone flat for bands especially. Spotify was starting to go. By 2015 was really, Spotify had really become the institution. It started there, and now it is what we know as like the standard for streaming, right? Apple, Spotify, you could throw Amazon in there, you could throw Tidal in there, you could throw like
Pandora? Anyone use
yeah,
Pandora
yeah.
anymore?
You could, Pandora
Yeah.
for sure. You could throw like 7, 8, 9, 10 different platforms, YouTube,
Yeah.
all in there as like the standard for streaming. There's probably like 10 big platforms that people are interacting with, but in the early 2010s, everything was in flux. Everything was going from CD and then MP3, right? Like ripping music to streaming. That was a very bleak time for music. And everyone, if you were there, you really thought it was over. It was like from here to flatline.
Yeah.
Like income, all kinds of things. And if you were a band that had been thriving for the 10 years, that was even more shocking because it was like you were really used to that income and that kind of success that had just, I mean, we worked our asses off, but there was a reciprocation. When you went out and worked hard, you could count on it. And then around 2011, 2012, 2013, it all just started flatlining and everyone was like, it's over.
Oh, man.
And that was a real time. It's hard to call back to because it's long enough away now and the music business is thriving now. So it's hard to recall that.
Yeah.
But I was there and it was real. And
I'm sure that was scary.
Yeah, you're like, we're done.
Yeah, like no matter how hard you work, you don't see the return.
Yeah,
there's no more Tower Records.
Yeah, everything's closing, everything's shutting down, everything's changing over, and streaming hasn't taken off yet. So there's no 20 million monthly listeners or anything like that yet for anyone. So we pivoted and just started doing TV, doing this, doing that, and like just working. Like we're just like, I'll just do the jobs that I can do. So I went and did The Voice in Australia. I went and did this, and it was hard work, but I liked it. So like you said, like I enjoy talking. Like as you guys can tell, I'll just take all the space.
I love it. Please. That's what.
And then we started a music company, and so we've never had a mindset that like, oh, we can just settle for like, oh, everything's done. We just pivot and start and keep working.
Yeah.
And what we realized was, obviously it wasn't done. It's just the ebbs and flows of a career and what it means to be in a business that changes every cycle, 6, 7 years. You see changes. You see new adaptations of new technology, new ways of doing things, different business models, all kinds of things that you always kind of have to. When you're in a career long enough and you're in an industry and a market long enough, you expect it to change. You start to expect it to change, and you become more adept to roll with that and actually succeed because of the change, because you can start to see it coming. And that's what I wish someone had taught me. And now that's what I try to teach artists.
Are you better at getting taught stuff or learning stuff?
Learn the hard way.
Yeah, me too.
Life is my teacher.
Because if someone would have told me that, I still would have learned the hard way.
Yeah, I say that too. I always say that now. Obviously, my kids don't want to hear it, but I say it. Is you could listen to me and I'll tell you what I know, and I do have some experience, and you will learn.
Yeah.
Life will teach you no matter what. Yeah. All of us have to accept that life is going to teach us, and if it's the long way. Right? Like, okay, if I don't learn about health, I will learn the long way and I will become unhealthy. And then I will spend the time I would have spent trying to be healthy and find that my road for health by having to survive, to live. Life's going to like give me the opportunity to early on learn on my own and try to I think I should be healthy, but I'm just going to be unhealthy.
We're only learning as a society now that we're supposed to be healthy, right?
Right.
And that like you're not supposed to be decrepit in your fucking 40s. Like we just thought that that's just old age, but we've started to actually, that you've dedicated most of your life to that.
I think now too with like social media and just people kind of talking, like yourself talking, sharing the knowledge that you have, and just putting those little kind of gems out there, whether people want to grasp them or not. It's kind of like you could get that you could get ahead of the game if you really just take these morsels in and start applying them little by little to like your life.
Well, you can learn the hard way, right? Which is like you don't take anyone's advice, you don't listen to anyone, or you can just listen to everyone, which I don't think really teaches you. I think you just because you don't do it because they said don't do it, you don't really understand the totality of why not to do it. But I do think that listening to people and learning the hard way, it cushions your fall.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, a little combination.
That's also
so
that's also the
You
reality.
need to fall down and skin your knee, but it's way better to skin your knee than to break your knee because you
And-
listen to just that little bit, you know?
and to stop looking for the answer,
Yeah.
but look for all the answers.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's no one person, there's no guru. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
We're all people. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses. We all have some shit we figured out and some shit we haven't. Doesn't matter who you are. And so I appreciate the motivational people in the world that seem to have a lot of answers. I believe they do. It's like I believe a Tony Robbins has some real valuable answers for people. But I also believe he's a human that has some deficiencies as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Everyone does.
and I would say that to anyone because I don't believe in a Jesus. Right? I don't believe that someone's going to come and offer us one answer. Like, and I don't say that in a sacrilegious way.
No.
I'm saying that as a symbol of what we make things. Right? If we make everything like our God, this is my answer. No, this is one answer to one thing.
Yeah.
Like we should work out. We should find our version of working out to be healthy. It's not the only answer to our life. You can do that too much and throw away some things. We should work on our marriage and try to find the function in our family and have the best family life we can. But also, some people shouldn't be married.
Yeah.
And that's not the only answer for them.
It's literally all about balance, right?
It's balance and it's
And
like
it's-
real. I really don't want to be anybody's, like my podcast is, I'm very careful about like knowing too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like certainty. Like, be careful about certainty.
Certainty
Because
and absolutes.
the more you actually educate yourself and the more you know, the more you realize that you
don't.
don't know.
Yeah, and
An expert
you're
will-
just another guy trying to do his best and be the best. Like, I really do think like the point of life is to keep leveling up and be the best version
Yeah.
that you can be, right?
It's kind of what we were talking about at dinner last night because I prescribe to that wholeheartedly of the point of life is just to figure out how to enjoy the passage of time. And I almost equate it to like an open world RPG game. And it's about just leveling up
Yeah.
and leveling up. And the thing is, we were talking about this, we were at dinner with our wives last night. And it's like, the thing about it is like, is there Jesus? Don't know. And you can't know. Right? The thing is like our existence is impossible you can't actually know. So all you can do is pick some sort of denomination, whether it be organized religion, believing in yourself, believing we're in a simulation, believing that Jesus is coming back, believing the aliens are the ones, believing that we are just floating through the nothingness, believing we don't exist. But just pick one that helps you cope with enjoying the fact that you do exist.
And hopefully like helps you grow,
Yeah.
Yes.
right? Because that's how
Exactly.
you live, growing. If you don't grow, you die. It's
Yeah.
the opposite of growth, right?
Yeah.
And so like for me, I'm just trying to grow. And I'm sharing with people, whoever's listening, what my experience has shown me. Because also one of the other things I try to like, the band thing's interesting, right? It's how most people know me. I accept that. I'm not fighting against that. I'm like, don't mention my hit song. I don't care. Like it doesn't, it has value to me, but it's
Yeah.
not like I don't walk around all day and think about it.
Yeah.
I'm just me. I'm a person that's living in the world, and actually I'm not the most important guy in the room. I don't want to be. I don't want to be the president. I don't want to be anything other than what I really am right now, right here.
I love that.
Right? I'm trying to be stronger. I go to the gym. I'm trying to be leaner.
Yeah.
I'm working on my macros, but I'm getting it I think I'm getting more right than wrong at this point. So I've
Yeah.
shifted from getting more wrong
Yeah.
Yeah.
over to getting more right. And I'm hoping to keep pushing it in the direction of more momentum, because that's kind of how I found things work.
And that's growth.
Over time, right?
Yeah, progress.
Growth. And progress
Yep.
is like this incremental thing. And so I tend to take things from all the podcasts we probably all love, whether it's Rogan or Huberman or this guy or that guy. Like, they're also just other guys who have figured some stuff out.
Yeah.
And they're sharing it as well. So I think we're in an era of like sharing and information. And what happens though is people start taking things and making them sound like they're out of context, and they're making it sound like you're being absolute. I'm not actually being absolute.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, this is what I did. It worked for the most part. And hopefully someone listening is getting inspired to go on their journey of growth and progress. And then maybe they'll start sharing with other people. And that's actually how we evolve, I think, as like a species.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
It's like, maybe you could try it. Maybe it'll work for you. Maybe it won't.
There's also not a one size fits all.
Not one size fits all. And you could kind of figure it out and do your own kind of.
That's reality.
Yeah.
And the real, and we can also, I don't even know if disagree is the word. Like, you could say, nah, I don't really feel that.
Yeah.
But I'm doing this. Cool. Like, so I feel like, but I do think that the majority of people that I talk to are in the same spot. Like, we're all just comparing notes.
Yeah.
It does seem like there's been
Just
a
trying
sea
to figure
change
it
to
out.
caring. Because I mean, it's fun. Like when we were kids, it was like if you lifted weights, you were a jock, right? And like I skate, I play in punk
You're a
bands.
skater.
I'm not a fucking jock.
Yeah, you're a freak.
and so you're like not supposed to exercise. You're not supposed to.
That's how it was back then, though.
But we did, but we secretly got probably more exercise than they did playing shows, practicing, skateboarding. I mean, I was a drummer. I don't think there's a thing in the planet that is a better cardio exercise than playing the drums in a fucking punk band.
And what I always tell people about fitness is like everything counts.
Yeah.
If you go walk down the street and you find a way to be active and move your body, even if it's just going for a walk around the block, and like, it counts. But there's math.
Yeah.
So calories in, calories out is a thing.
Yep.
You got to start to try and build a relationship with that. Everybody's is different. And then you should figure out some kind of strength training. So weights is probably the most straightforward.
Yeah.
And I have grown to love weights, which I hated weights because I had an insecurity about lifting weights in front of people. And I thought to work out, you had to go to a gym and you had to go with a trainer and they yell at you while you try to lift weights. And like, it was a terrible experience.
Yeah.
And then I realized like, that's not actually how you train. And now I love training, but it took me years to have a relationship with myself and my own self-esteem to go like, no, there's an athletic side of me and I should try to figure out how to, now I'm getting into martial arts and things like that.
Sick.
Slowly, but it's a relationship you build with life.
It takes time.
It takes time.
It doesn't happen overnight. Like all these things, like different modalities and stuff, you have to like, you yourself have to believe in it. And then you have to like, if you want it to stick, you want to get into it little by little.
And find people that like inspire you versus like, like self-esteem is
Hang
a real
out with
thing.
him every day and you're going to want to start fucking lifting weights.
I could tell.
It'd be fun.
I was working with a wellness company and they were like, you have to start doing resistance training. They're like, your testosterone is fucked, your this is fucked.
You have to.
And they're like, you have to. They're like, because I was like, I thought very, ignorantly, I'm like, well, I need to lose weight and be healthy. I'm going to run. So I took up running. But it turns out because I didn't have enough muscle and enough testosterone, the running was actually decreasing my testosterone, increasing my estrogen and my cortisol. So like actually like learning about some of these things, it's like, oh, you can, I mean, yes, running is probably better than not doing anything at all.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as good as I found out walking with a 40-pound vest on.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as lifting just a little bit. Start really small. And then I've noticed as I've, because like, I mean, you've known me for probably what? Close to a decade maybe?
Yeah.
And
crazy.
I literally looked 10 years older 10 years ago than I do now.
Yeah,
And
you look great.
I mean, I've lost like 40 pounds, and my face I mean, you've seen some of the pictures.
Oh, for sure.
And
wouldn't you say though that like the health journey kind of runs alongside the personal journey?
Yes.
The marriage journey.
when you
all of it.
when you kind of get out of the turbulent clouds, and
Yep.
you kind of, I don't think I've achieved escape velocity, but like when you kind of get to like cruising altitude, you can kind of look to your left and look to your right, because for so many years, I just woke up, went to the restaurant, drank a gallon of beer, went to sleep, and then did it again 800 or 900 days in a row without a day off. But that is how you build something.
That is how you. That is where you're giving your energy.
Yeah.
And there's something to that. And sometimes you do what you have to do to make it. And I would agree with that. Like in the early years of the band, and then also with parenting, like you have your kids, and like I have 2 kids, and I gave everything I had because I didn't want to fail.
Yeah.
And I had the experience of a broken home and parents who struggled, and that experience as a kid was traumatic.
Yeah.
Like straight up. Like there was lots of stuff in there that I worked on, and I said, I'm not going to fuck this up.
Yep.
So I gave my health and fitness to all the time I spent from going from work, shooting that TV show in Australia, flying home for 3 days, being there every morning, there, going back for 3 days, doing all this shit to make it work. Because that's what my priority at the time was.
Yeah.
And it paid off because
Yeah.
I'm close to my kids.
Yeah.
And so now now they're teenagers. I have more time. I can go to the gym every day. I have time. And I'm getting a handle on that over the last couple of years since they became teenagers. That's when you start to get a lot of time back.
It's funny how finding out you're going to have a kid does change your perspective on life. Like I went to the doctor and found out I had this and this and this and pre-diabetic and high cholesterol.
Crazy,
and like, because as soon as we found out we were pregnant, it was like,
oh, I got to live a long time.
I need to, I need to actually change the purpose of my life. Now it's no longer just about doing the thing. Cause like, I love my life, right? When I say I work 900 days in a row, which is not an exaggeration, morning to night, no one had a fucking gun to my head.
Yeah.
I'd have done it for free. I just happened to, but then as you grow and grow and grow, then more money, more problems. And you've got, now there's mouths to feed and you've got responsibilities and now this is happening. And so you can't, once it takes off, you kind of can't stop. But at a certain point, you're like, I need to make sure that when I get up to that cruising altitude, I don't have a broken fucking plane.
Yeah.
Because I come from a broken home as well. And Marguerite and I talked about before we got, had a kid, I already believe in you don't get a divorce. I already believe in that. But I believe it's not possible to get a divorce once you bring a fucking kid in. You don't have a fucking choice. We now have tools. We're reasonable people. If we introduce a child, we cannot do to them what was done to me.
Right.
No matter what. Doesn't matter what the fuck we do.
Yeah.
So I do think that...
how did you guys achieve that? Like, do you go therapy? Do you like how do you achieve that?
So we've been married for 13 years.
Functionality.
We met in middle school. We've been married for 13 years. Been together for like 17. And I'm 38, so like almost half.
Damn, you're so young.
Almost half my fucking life.
40 this year.
40.
Yeah,
oh my god, you guys are young as shit. I'm 46.
No way.
You're not that much
You
older
don't even
than
look
us.
46, bro.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, man.
I like to think in like another 15 pounds, I'm gonna look like I'm 36.
Oh hell yeah!
But yeah, 46 is old enough though.
Yeah.
To not be young. Mm-hmm. Like I don't feel like I'm old, but I don't feel like I'm 38.
Yeah.
Like there's some kind of experience at 46 that you get from like maybe just living.
Yeah.
Where it's weird. It's like something happens in your 40s where you get this like grave realization of life and of the reality of life. And then you do care about your fucking health. The fact that you're getting it at this age and you're like, yo, I got to get on this is amazing because you're ahead of the curve.
I think it's a little bit about just how my career has like, I've reached, like I always thought when I was in my early 20s, even late teens, it's not impressive to open a restaurant and be the chef owner in your mid 30s.
Right.
It's really fucking impressive in your mid 20s. Right. So I was like, I'm gonna do it in my mid 20s. So, now I'm at the age now, like next year when I open this restaurant, I'll be the same age Thomas Keller was when he started the French Laundry.
Wow.
You know, but that will be my, depending on how many we open between now and then, that'll be restaurant number 30 in our portfolio.
Amazing accomplishment.
So it's a little bit, you know, I think I said this on your podcast. I'm a newer model, but I got a lot of fucking miles.
Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm. But back to your question, how do Margaret and I do it? Well, because we've been together for so long, and she's my business partner. We've worked together for so long. So we opened Scratch Bar in our apartment in 2013, and everything we've done since 2013, we've done together and made decisions together and argued about whether we should or shouldn't, and learned from, hey, we didn't take that risk, but fuck, look what would have happened. It would have paid off. We took that risk. It either did pay off or it didn't pay off. And we've been through getting sued. We've been through almost having to file for bankruptcy. We've been through the highs, the lows, the everything in between, the media lying. And so
you've dreamed together, you've built together, you've survived together, you've succeeded together,
we failed together,
all the experiences, the gamut is actually, like, to me, I think that's interesting. Like, that's like very similar to, it's the same as me and my brother's relationship.
Yeah.
Done it all. And my wife is now the same. Me and my wife now, she's my silent partner in everything I do.
Yeah.
She's the person that I go to and I go, hey, do you think this is a good idea? We talk through things. We've learned how to function a lot like me and my brother functioned. And it's made, and I would say him and his wife function the same way. They're partners in everything.
Yeah.
She has a wine company, but he's deep in that shit.
Yeah.
He has this company. She's deep in that.
Yeah.
Learning how to dream with someone, that's a vulnerability that it's weird. Like, I always think it's weird when people don't have it with each other. Those are the partnerships where you can dream together. That's vulnerability. When you could say, I really hope I get this. Because I don't know why it's such a vulnerable thing to say, I hope I achieve this. Or if I'm being honest, this is what I'd really like to be.
That's not a good life, though.
Right.
Because you want a life that you're open about, that you're honest about. And although some people refer to their wives as their partner, I refer to my wife as my wife. It's just the word I grew up with. But I want my wife to be my partner. And my partner, not just in the businesses, but in my life. You know, it's just like we just decided, it's more fun to play the game 2-player than single player.
Yeah.
You know, and so now this is
stronger.
Now there's two of us
Definitely
on the
stronger.
screen together at all times. You know.
She's your better half.
Yeah, much better.
She's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Your wife's cool, man. She's very cool. Mine is too, by the way. She's
well,
by far my better half.
I know that, and so
Mine
does a
too.
lot of America.
Yeah. You've seen it in real life, though.
Yeah. No,
when
I
we
have.
show up, like,
She's the best.
she's the star of the show. She's just
I think
cool.
I became friends with her almost first. Right?
Yeah. She's like, excited about life, about stuff. But she's just fun. She just has.
That's so awesome.
She makes life fun, but she's really smart.
Yeah.
She's got great instincts. She knows she can spot good a mile away and bad a mile away. She really can.
Our wives seem to be able to do that, don't they?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's
And
funny.
they tell us.
Yeah.
Because we'll be like, no, that dude's great. She's like, that dude is not great. And I'm like,
that. Stay away from them. And you're like, what are you talking about? And she's like, I don't know, hon. You stay away from that. And they're like, okay. And she's right. She's right.
and he's had a very similar relationship with his wife. And
And my wife is awesome. She's definitely the better half, the smarter half. Very sharp, and she's definitely helps with all of the businesses and stuff as well.
But didn't she also like help get you clean and help get you on the right path? And
she like inspired me to like basically go sober and stuff, and just like
What were you like clean from what?
everything pretty much. Only uppers and tons of alcohol and such.
Only.
Yeah. Only. But I'm a skateboarder.
Okay.
So I just grew up without having to answer to any boss or anything like that, So I just kind of took everything to the extreme, whether I was on my board or off my board, So when we would start to party, it was always just how fucked up can I get? Like, how many days can I stay awake?
What do you think that is?
I think that's just, it's in certain people. Like
Like an adrenaline thing?
maybe adrenaline thing, like a adrenaline junkie. You know, I like jumping down big sets of stairs and grind big rails and stuff. So I'm like very like, I like the fear of like coming close to injuring or hurting yourself in a way, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's
Weird.
just like, you know, it's like you like that, like you like feeling butterflies in your stomach when you're at the top of a set of stairs and you're like, okay, let's go. You guys ready? Like, here we go. Like, I'm going to try this, you know, and then you just go for it. And, you know, hopefully it's there. If it's not there, you just eat shit, you know, but it's like I don't know. I think it just kind of comes with the way I grew up, or,
And
you know,
there's a bit of that in the culture back then in skateboarding.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was very just like all or nothing.
Where'd you
know?
grow up?
I grew up in Chicago, but
Right.
I grew up skateboarding in Chicago. And then when I was 22, kind of like same thing as you, is like I had some sponsorships and stuff out here. So I just took a one-way flight out here and just posted up, lived on friends' couches in my van and shit like that. And kind of just made it happen, you
Yeah.
know? Things just fell together with hard work and all that good stuff.
Do you think the drugs and alcohol started young or later?
I mean, alcohol, I mean, I probably started drinking at like 13 or something. Not super hard, but it was
Yeah, it's
okay.
around,
Like I would hit it here and there. And then drugs probably later on, like 17, 18-ish, you know? But still, it was like pretty mellow until I moved out here where it was like more accessible.
Right. It's
You
like
know?
around everywhere.
Yeah, and then when I went from being like an amateur skater to a professional skater, then I was making like a little bit more cash, but I didn't really have anything to pay for because I was like kind of still sleeping on couches and stuff. So that little bit more cash just ended up fueling our parties. And I could call people over, like, come party. Like, I have like this, and then it would just, you know, kind of go from there.
Yeah.
And it just would cause like a havoc on everything, you know?
Yeah.
But then when I met my wife, this happened for a few years, but I met my wife, she was not into any of that. And me and
Right.
her would butt heads and stuff. And eventually I started slowing down on my consumption because alcohol kind of led me to heavy drug use. So I started to slow down my consumption of alcohol. And then I tore my ACL at 28. And then that was just kind of the catalyst. I was like, all right, quit drinking, chill. And as the months started to compile, it was like easier to stay away. And I just never went back,
Right.
you know?
Do you feel like the injury, you related that to like a lack of like did you somehow connect that to the partying somehow?
I'm sure, you know, I'm sure I wasn't as crispy. Like, I'm sure like my, meaning like my brain wasn't as like focused.
Sharp.
I wasn't as sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like my central nervous system wasn't as reactive. And I think just poor sleep, bad recovery, you know, joints and tendons, dehydrating and weakening. And then just one
You'll tear
wrong
something
slam.
way easier if you're.
Yeah.
I mean, if I drink too much alcohol for too many days in a row, the backs of my legs will start to like seize.
Yeah.
And
Dehydration.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I could imagine if you're drinking a lot and you could, you know, and then you fucking jump off 12 stairs and you land wrong, that shit's gonna snap way easier.
Yeah, if a knee
than if
turns
you were,
in.
you know, stretching and exercising and.
I always wonder why I drank so much in my 20s. I know why.
You're supposed to.
Because I was on the road and
Yeah.
and that was just the lifestyle. It was what we thought. We
Yeah.
thought everybody just did this. I never did drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was too scared.
Okay.
Like I was terrified of like somehow something got in my brain that like drugs could kill you.
Were your peers around you doing drugs or not really?
Our band wasn't a drug heavy band. We
Okay.
drank though.
Yeah.
But there were definitely people doing drugs. Like pills were big in the 2000s.
Yeah.
So it was like all these different like just like Oxycontin was
Like
big.
downers kind of, yeah.
and Norcos, like Vicodins, like strong Vicodins and things. So I saw it all around.
Saw those,
and I
yeah.
saw people get addicted and I saw people die.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that'll do it sometimes.
and that terrified me
Yeah.
enough. But I drank heavily, but I also know now why I drank. I had a very low self-esteem, even at the height of the band. And so all my self-esteem was wrapped up in the success of the band and not in like being a healthy person or a successful person in life. Because I don't necessarily think that band success is life success.
Yeah.
In fact, it could be a devastating, horrible for people who aren't ready for success of that kind. They can just, go out in a blaze because they can't handle, that kind of success. But I think I drank to be comfortable in my own skin around all these people that I thought were so special and so important. And there's these famous people here and beautiful girls over there and people over here and all these people that I thought were better than me. And I think I drank to feel like comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah.
And then it was just more habitual, like, oh, you just drink.
That's just what you do.
And then by my 30s, because I met my wife and I had settled down, and that's when the work started on myself, where I started like going in and going like, where are the broken pieces? Because you got to fix them at some point.
For sure.
And I think after the work, I'd say probably like almost a decade of therapy, I found I couldn't drink anymore because I was not comfortable being out of control of my body. And so now my relationship with like my idea around what like overindulging, because I still drink. Like I'll have a beer with someone or I'll have a toast with someone. Like, but why I drink now tends to be more like celebratory. Everyone's like, let's raise a glass or something. Or like someone's like, try this wine. It's amazing. I'm not a huge wine guy, but I can appreciate like when someone's like, this bottle of wine is from like 19 fucking whatever. And you're like, oh, I got to try that. And I'll try it and I'll be like, yeah, that's pretty good. I'm not a wine connoisseur, but like I'll have one. But now I look at when someone's overindulging in alcohol or using drugs and going, I wonder why they don't want to be in their body. Yeah. That's what I think now.
No,
but I think that's what your 20s are kind of for. It's kind of like, at least when I was a kid, it's like if there was a girl in the group who was like heavily Mormon or heavily whatever, and then she rebels at 19, she goes absolutely insane
nuts
compared to all the girls who just dabbled. Right. And so I do feel like now I will not drink spirits. I don't drink spirits.
No whiskey or nothing.
I won't.
Not even like a nice Japanese.
Like a nice Japanese.
There's always
he has access to all of it too.
That's what I'm saying. I know you have access to some of the.
I had like a $2,000 a shot whiskey in the restaurant a couple of years ago, and a famous actor was in there. I won't say who, but he was like he was getting it for like the whole cast was in the room, and he's like, he was asking me about it, and I'm like, actually, I was like talking, and he was like, you haven't tried it yet, have you? And he could tell. I'm like, I haven't. He's like, why not? And I'm like, I bought it, but like, I got to sell this. Like, I can't. And he goes, I'll buy you a shot. And I go, okay. So I've been in certain scenarios where it's like you kind of cannot say no for that. But like, I will not, if we're at the bar, I will not drink liquor. But that's what you learn in your 20s and your 30s. Like, it
doesn't agree with you.
Yeah.
It doesn't agree with you.
You have to learn through experience.
And you got to fall the fuck down.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't feel like you have to do it at your 20s. I feel like some people just, it tends to hit them harder.
Yeah, they need to go over to the edge and look over.
Yeah.
And say, like, do I want to go over the edge or not?
But like my relationship with alcohol today is, I think it's very healthy. But that's because I had such an unhealthy relationship for so long.
But I think it's actually just establishing that that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like when you're young, you don't even think, what's my relationship to this?
Yeah.
You just do it. Mm-hmm. And then you go, oh, wait, I have a really unhealthy relationship with food or with alcohol or with drugs. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know too many people that are like, and maybe this is just me, because I definitely am open to this. But maybe there are some people who like dabble in drugs. They're like, oh yeah, I do drugs every now and then. And you're like, that's a strange, like
just a little dabble here and there.
Does that?
They're the person who only smokes when they're drinking. Like,
yeah, like, but that even is a thing. Like, I probably now drink alcohol a handful of times a year.
Yeah.
Like even just a toast, right?
Yeah.
Like
just moderation.
Over the course of a year, I probably have like, at this stage of my life, 12 drinks total across the whole year.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not like that's my plan. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's super solid, man.
Right. It's just
that's great.
And also for my health, like,
Yeah.
I found like a relationship to my health with alcohol.
Well, alcohol
so much better when you
Alcohol's
drink.
so bad for like everything, like when it comes to recovery and stuff.
But if there's somebody with like buying the expensive shots of whiskey of the that's probably where my drinks, every single one of my drinks count. It's like something. It's like someone got
Something
a bottle
special.
of wine.
Yeah.
Someone got this sick Japanese whiskey, and they're like, "This is 18-year whatever."
If you
and
came to
you're
the
like,
restaurant, I'm like, dude, you gotta try.
I would
this.
do
Yeah,
it.
of course. Yeah.
But I don't just order alcohol.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be like, hey, after you try it, let me get like
me get
10
another
more
one.
of those.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
we're getting fucked up tonight.
But I do think that that's what your teens or 20s is for, is to like,
I
is to
definitely drank enough.
you have to overdo everything so that you can realize, okay, just reel that back a little bit, you know.
To say and to be able to say you did it is actually a thing in life. Like, you don't. I also think, and maybe some people would disagree with me, but like, your 20s are kind of for that. Like, whether it's like you slept with too many people, or you drank too much, or you did, like, I didn't do drugs, but if you did drugs, if you did this, I'm not sitting here going, there's any one right way. I do think the right way to live is to love yourself and take care of yourself and be thoughtful, because this is your life,
And to grow.
and to not throw yourself away and go,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It actually does matter. But so growth is like the key. I think it's the important part. But if somebody says, yeah, in my 20s, I went ham, I don't judge them.
Yeah.
Because we all kind of did in some way.
Yeah.
But it's not cute after when you hit your 30s.
There's a certain area, yeah.
And then isn't it weird how like we all kind of agree on that, even though there's no rule?
Yeah.
Like the guy who's going ham in his 30s, it's not like we're sitting here going like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
something about us doesn't take certain things seriously.
Well, at a certain age, like you don't expect someone to have a thriving business, a family, a steady home life in their 20s.
Yeah.
You start to expect that in the late 30s,
Late
mid
30s,
40s,
mid-40s.
early 50s. But then again, it kind of comes back in vogue when you go on vacation. You see this couple in their 60s, you know, sipping Mai Tais at 10 o'clock
Yeah.
in the morning. You're like,
Yeah.
damn, that looks kind of cool.
That's
I
cool.
don't want to do that. I have no desire to have a Mai Tai right now, but like,
But you might when you're 60.
but when I'm 60 and because
Retired, chilling.
or they come in for dinner and they just like, can I have a glass of vodka? And they just drink like fuck. It's insane.
But I wonder what it is. Like, I wonder, and I know we're probably not on topic for the podcast.
It's all right.
We're not talking about the story of my band or whatever. But this is interesting. I wonder what it is about us as like, and I'm going to say just like as men, but as like people, that at some age when we get closer to 40, over the line of 40, and we see the people who have said, nope, because there's plenty of guys who are super successful in business who are like, no, I'm never getting married, never having kids. I'm going to be perpetually single. I actually don't see that guy and go like, fuck that guy. I don't.
No.
But something is it like, if I'm being honest, and maybe it's just my own perception of like what life is, something is off to me.
Yeah.
I think we all look at life differently,
Yeah.
you know, so that person, you know, their life is just,
They tick different.
yeah, they tick different. Like,
Yeah.
whereas we had like a different view on life where like we wanted to start a family, you know, have businesses, have our houses, whatever, you know, and we kind of chose that route where like those guys just, they tick different. Like their whole like end game is something different. Whereas we see like having a partner, a wife, a family is like something that's like very
success to me.
wholesome,
Yeah.
success,
Yeah.
peaceful, you know, and something to grow with. And
Maybe
watch
that's
grow.
our like, maybe that's like our injury. Maybe our like broken family thing.
It could
Yeah.
be. Yeah, it could be that we're trying to get right what our parents got wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but also like it also could just be literally like, you know, we were talking about this. There's a guy in our company who like we were talking about, you know, he doesn't always have the coolest ideas, and I said to him like, dude, he listens to show tunes in his car. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and so in my mind, I'm like,
That's how he ticks.
that's how he ticks. I'm like, what, is there something wrong? He's not mentally, there's nothing wrong with him, but like, I could never find a word. There's no alternate timeline where I'm singing Rent in my car. You know what I mean? It doesn't compute how anybody could ever, like, how do you not open the booklet and read all the words and listen to albums? Like our brains, for whatever reason, whether it's who we grew up with, what we saw on TV, what we saw in magazines, you just assume everybody else kind of operates like you do.
Yeah. It's a type.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny.
So what made you guys decide to get back together and put out a new record?
I think we always wanted to, but we had come to this deep understanding of like the thing, and we knew that we couldn't do it until it emerged, kind of, you know. We didn't know when that would be, and we didn't even know what that would mean. So it's not like we're on this mission to take over the world or anything like that. But we had, in 2018, we had put a record out, and we were all signed up to go and do the world tour and take that record and then go from there. And then my dad, who I had a really nice relationship with in the last 10 years of his life, we had a really great relationship. We had built this really nice friendship.
How did that reconcile?
It kind of happened naturally when I had kids.
He reached out to you, or you reached out to him, or?
I think I reached out to him, but he might have reached out to me. Either way, we got together, and it was really nice. We had a real reconciliation and this like bonding.
Okay.
Like we really got to know each other.
Yeah.
And it was the first time in my life where I knew him. I didn't really know him his whole life. Like he worked and he'd come home late and he'd leave early. I probably have 5 memories with him my whole life. You know, like 5 core memories with him. Like one time he took me on a bike ride. One time he took me fishing. We took about 3 family trips together in the car. So I didn't, and all I remember of him was sometimes at the dinner table and him coming home late and going to one of his 2 jobs that he always had. So I never really got to know him as a person.
You didn't see him like from the time before, well, after he left to when you
I didn't see him.
You didn't see him?
I didn't see him for a decade and a half or almost 2 decades.
Okay.
So a long time. And then even before then, like my core memories with him are very few.
Yeah.
Right? Like
you're very young, right?
We were young and he just didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
He was always working. He worked his ass off. And then I got to know him and I really liked him. He was like old school. He was really tough guy, but he had like a softness to him. He'd help anyone. So I got to know him from a different angle and at a different time in my life where I was a grown man doing what he was doing, and I had a lot of respect for what he was up against.
Yeah.
With 4 kids and,
at the time. Yeah.
At the time, so we had this really nice relationship, and I think I was getting a lot out of it. And then when he passed away suddenly in 2019, we had just put that record out. We were on the road, we were touring it, and we were like getting geared up for like what I thought would be like another decade of work.
Yeah.
And anyone that knows our band knows a lot of our songs are about our relationship with our dad and growing up. So we had talked about that though. And so I was in a really like good place with him, and he even came to a show, and it was cool. And then he died suddenly, and it kind of just shattered our like want to do it. And so we canceled everything. We shut down, and I kind of me and my brother both were like right away when he died. We were like, nope, not doing anything else. I don't want to go on stage. I don't want to sing these songs, old, new. I don't want any of it. And we just stopped.
Wow.
And then, and we kind of we maybe thought we were done. we talked to the band and we were like, sorry guys, it's not there. We can't go on stage and sing and do this thing and like pretend. Nothing feels worse. And I don't care how much money there is. I don't care.
Yeah.
There's nothing I could do to stop feeling this way. And everybody was cool. Everyone was like, yeah, totally get it. And we were like, look, if it ever happens again one day, it'll be because it's got to happen because we all feel like it's gonna emerge. And for years I was like, still don't feel it.
Yeah.
Have zero.
It's just not there.
No calling.
Yeah.
You could have offered me any amount of money. I'd have been like, no, sorry, I can't walk out on that stage. And then my little sister, Nicole's little sister, Sophia, who I've known since she was 7, was getting married, and she grew up with our band. Like she was there. I would bring her to shows, and like she was like she's like my family. This person I've known since she was 7. I feel responsible for her. I feel protective of her. I have a real relationship with this person from when they were little to now as an adult. She's getting married, right? Her fiance at the time. Also, I loved him immediately, and it was like this beautiful situation where I'd always worried about her because you do, and you're like. You just want to meet someone nice who sees them for who they are and appreciates the person they are. And that's kind of hard in LA and anywhere in the world.
Yeah,
but in LA, it can be, there's a lot of characters and
a lot of superficiality.
Right. And so it seems to be concentrated in certain spots here. There's pockets of deep.
Less so in Ventura County.
Right. So anyways, she meets this amazing guy. I love him right away. We become really close. And then their relationship goes on, and they sit down with me and they're like, we're getting married. I'm like, amazing. And they're like, we want you and Good Charlotte to play at our wedding. And I'm like, whoa, we haven't played in, at this time, 6 years or 7 years.
Wow.
I don't know, however long.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let me wrap my head around this. Of course I want to.
Yeah.
If there was ever a reason I want to go on stage,
it'd be for
it's
you.
for you. Let me call the band and let me and it was really sweet. I call the band, everybody's like, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's do it. So it was beautiful. I was like, okay, you know what? We're going to come play and this is going to be great. And I didn't want to have any conflict about it at all. And I like mentally, emotionally was all the way on board with going and trying my best to give her exactly what I knew she wanted, which was a real Good Charlotte show. Because she was a fan.
Yeah.
And so we did it. The whole band came. We went to the south of France. We're at Hotel du Cap, this beautiful wedding. We're playing this after party, and it's fucking sick.
Yeah, I mean, that's
by the way, bro, we killed that shit.
Yes.
It was packed. There was 200 people in this basement bar club room they had.
Oh wow,
it was
so
sick.
It's like a show.
Epic,
it was a show.
Oh
Damn.
wow,
and we ripped it. It was it felt like back in the day.
Amazing.
And we played this show, and we had such a good time, and we all hung out all night, and it was like one of the best nights of my life to this day. Her husband's now one of my best friends, and she's one of my best friends. She's just dear to me. So we did the show, and we were like, we should make a record. And I was like, we might have a chance.
Yeah, you just felt it. It was just that thing. Yeah. Oh man, I love that.
Fuck
and then we leave, and we start talking about it, and then we make this record. And it's called Motel du Cap because of that. It's kind of why we named it Motel du Cap.
Oh hell yeah.
Not quite Hotel du Cap, but Good Charlotte. We're a little du Cap.
Yeah.
We have a little motel.
Yeah.
So then we make this record, and we just follow our feeling, and we make this record we love. And now we're out playing shows, and they're the biggest shows that we've ever played in our life.
It sounds like fate.
Dude.
We talk about destiny and fate sometimes on
Seriously.
this podcast, and it sounds like this was supposed to happen.
I think.
You ever think about that kind of thing?
Yes, I think there's something like the early stages of our development. We have to really push and get after it and do anything, right? Mm-hmm. You know that in the restaurant business, right? And you go for decades. anyone that's successful, we will all share this kind of like the early stages of development to what becomes more like concrete success that's a global or agreed on by like many people.
Yeah.
That climb is like a decade plus of just grinding any opportunity because you need every opportunity. But then once you have established a brand of any kind, then you have to start to listen to what the brand is and not do everything, right? And I think somewhere in this, like, even my dad passing away forced me to stop and listen to my feelings for the first time probably in my life, where I'd, even through that decade before he died, when we were close, I was working on all this stuff. And some some of it for sure I should have been working on. Like, our music company is incredible. We should have done that.
Yeah.
But there was tons of other stuff we probably shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
That I wasn't listening to.
Well, there's a level of escapism my mom tells me all the time that I used my work to escape. She's like, I could just see that, like, because I'm the oldest of 6, broken home.
Right.
Someone's getting arrested. Someone's getting rushed to the hospital for drugs. Somebody's always something. And I, got to get on a plane to go have an intervention. Got to do this, got to do that. And it's like, I would just disappear into, I disappeared into bands, and then I disappeared into the fucking kitchen, but I'm grateful for, like, I at the time, I maybe did or didn't want to, but like, I couldn't have put in the hours to open the restaurant in the mid-20s had I not put, so you have to look back and actually be like, are you happy today? Yes. Well, then I have to be grateful for everything I went through, because anything different, I might be sitting on this part of the couch versus not on this couch at all.
And you can't really question it. You just have to try and make sense of it.
Yeah.
So that you can share it.
Yep.
And also, I think because of I do think because we were being ourselves.
Yeah.
All the way up to when we stopped, when my dad died. We were just being ourselves. We turned down lots of things, lots of money, lots of this, lots of that, with no real, like, we were just feeling our way through. And I think that like what that got us back, I think my dad passing away got me back to like a deep, just feeling my way through life and listening to my feelings and following those. That led me all the way back to this latest record, which was a feeling following that, which is now, I would say, I operate more these days from feeling and less from thought.
Yeah.
Even though I think about things and I try to strategize, we try to be strategic when we decide to go after something. Once you formulate a decision to go and take the hill, you do need to like try and create a strategy, because you'll do better.
Yeah.
But I think the feeling of when to go is a real thing.
That's how you make the decision.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that we got to find the balance, right? And so when I share with people is like it sounds whatever when you say like, trust your gut or like, I don't know, like, see how you feel about it. It actually is a serious thing to learn how to feel your way through something, and then put things into action is more thinking and doing. But I think where we got with this record was we felt our way into it by that moment with Sophia asking us to do the wedding, which made me feel something.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
And then we got here, and now as we put this record out, we love this record. I don't even know how this record has done. I have zero clue.
Yeah.
I know we have a song that's like, maybe it's about to be top 10 in rock or whatever. Like, I get little reports back where I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
I don't care. What I care about is how I feel when I go out in the world. And the show, like I said, the shows are bigger than I don't know if we've ever done shows bigger than what we're doing right now. Now, we're not doing a ton of them.
That is awesome, dude.
We're only doing, like, this year we probably did 12 shows.
Yeah.
next year we'll probably do 30 shows, right? Like that's our world tour.
Which allows you to have a great work-life balance,
Yes.
whatever that is.
I want to say that feeling that you feel, that's the artist in you.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
that's the artist, you know, and that just came out naturally, you know,
Yeah.
with all the things that were happening in your life at that time, you know.
I think it came out naturally, but also I can't help but like think that like when you lost your father the first time, the feelings went away and it became about the survival instincts of like, I got to use my brain. I got to figure this
business.
out. I got to get out of here. I got to do that.
I will say though, I think you're right where you were going with that was like the first time I lost my dad, I was heartbroken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was angry for years, decades. And then I made sense of that through art and shared it with people. I always wondered in the back of my mind if he heard me though, if he heard those songs, how he felt.
Yeah.
And that's the part of me that's actually like.
Did he ever tell you?
He did.
Uh-huh.
And he said he was proud of us. And he said he was never, he understood. He was old school. He was always like, do you.
Yeah.
Like, that was
Yeah.
always his like, he's
That's
like,
dope.
you're a man, do you. Go do what you have to do. So he never, it wasn't like poor me, any of that.
Yeah.
He was not that guy. He was very proud. Never would accept a thing from us, you know, because we're gift givers. Me and my brother are just like, we love to give people gifts.
Yeah.
And like, he was like, nah, man, take care of your mom. You guys have done an incredible job. He was old school. Losing him again, though, I think was even more heartbreaking because I had so much wrapped up in our future. Because we were starting to go on this like journey together. And 10 years is kind of fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my kids loved him. My wife loved him. And he was becoming this like fixture in my life of like positive.
Well, that's what I sort of mean is like it kind of reopened up the ability to be vulnerable again almost, which is back to like you find the art through the vulnerability of living through feeling, not through your brain. You know?
Yeah.
Well, as we start to wrap up, we always sort of end. We never plan anything in this except we have the same question that we end every episode with. And that is, it's a complete hypothetical, but it's a fun one.
Yeah.
If Neen pulls out a magic lamp, puts on the table here, Genie comes out, you get one wish. Stipulated that wish is to design your utopian future 10 years from now. What does your life look like 10 years from now?
It's a great question. My life 10 years from now, if I get to design it with a genie lamp,
No holds barred.
I'm extremely close with my kids. I get to be a part of their journeys and their whatever paths they choose. I really, really want to be a part of their team to help them figure out how they accomplish the things they want to in life, whether it's, you know, work or whatever. Just to be in the car with them, whatever that is like really, really like something I want deeply. I think I'm on that path, but it's something that you can only hope for. So that's like for me and Nicole to be able to move around the world and in relationship to them and support them from whatever distance we need to, while also getting to kind of continue to make memories together, while also being able to do things we love that bring hopefully what I think artists do is we make the world look better, sound better, feel better. So hopefully we're doing things that mean something to people that they can enjoy and that make them think or make them feel and do it in a way that we have a lot of fun doing it, while also being able to just be together, live our life, and watch our kids build their lives.
Oh, yeah.
That's the dream.
Awesome, man.
I don't know if that's very clear, but that's the dream.
I mean, what I take away from it is you want to. I mean, everyone has their own version of basically saying, "I want to find peace, and happiness, and health, and I want to be close with those I love, and I don't want to have to do anything I don't want to fucking do."
Yeah, exactly, man. You know, you just want to make shit you like that you think is cool.
Yeah.
And if enough people enjoy it, you get to do it again. Yeah. It doesn't need to be everybody.
No.
It just needs to be enough to keep the fucking shop open.
Yep.
That's right.
And where people feel like they're getting a fair trade. You know, like when we do shows now, it's so funny at this age. Our shows are so much better because we realize what we're doing. We're actually giving people something that they're paying for.
Yeah.
So it's no longer I'm a rock star. Like I'm on
Just
stage.
watch me do my thing.
That was amazing. I felt amazing. It's not like that anymore. Now it's like we need fire. We need fire in this part and that part and that part because when the fire happens on that song, everybody loves it.
Yeah.
They paid money for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're spending their money on the show. It's like we look at it more like a Broadway show now where we're like from start to finish, they paid however much for this ticket from start to finish. What's the ride they're going on?
Yeah.
And at the
Act
end,
1, Act 2, Act 3.
are they glad they came and they're not like that to me is like we obsess over it now where we rehearse now for 2 weeks before we just went and did Brazil. It was an amazing result, but we put time in to get that result. So like now we look at it different because we want people, we just feel different. Also, listen, we're not there for the money now. It's just that's not the factor.
Yeah.
Now it's the thing. It's like
But you still have the work ethic.
it's the feeling that we felt. We know when we hit it. We know when the crowd had a good time. And we know when they were like, that was special.
Fuck yeah.
That's what we have to accomplish now with every show. And there's something different. It's cool.
Hell
it's like you do, the older you get, you start to realize like what life's about. And it is kind of funny when you're young, you do think it's like accomplishing things. It is when you're young. But then you get past it and you realize like, why do you accomplish things? And it's something else. It's a transcendent thing.
I love it.
Yeah, I love
It's
that,
why you
man.
make food.
It's because there's nothing else. Well, there are lots of other things I want to do, but it's the thing that I do.
And it's like making the food, presenting the food.
Yeah.
And then people seeing it out in the world and going, man, I really want to go try that.
Yeah, I've never had the desire to, just open a restaurant that fed you on a Tuesday night because you were hungry.
Yeah, it's like this. It's this thing we need in life to look forward,
Yeah.
not back, right? When we look back, we want to remember things with a warm. Remember when we were at your restaurant? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a warm. You go, I remember that night. That was a great night. And then to look forward is to go to achieve something, to want something, to go. I still haven't had that burger.
Yeah.
And I talk about it a lot, actually.
We're working on in LA.
It's
Yeah.
on my list of
It's
like,
coming.
I really want to go and just have that fucking burger.
Yes.
And it's just a burger,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's this thing we do in life where we all look forward to these moments. And that's what life's all about.
Oh yeah.
And that's why we do what we do. It's why you have restaurants. It's why I do music. It's why we find artists, because we know what happens when we've now successfully found a dozen artists that are big, successful, that bring joy to people, they're the soundtrack of people's lives. We know what it means, and it's not money. It's this other thing. It's like what makes us all happy is one more. If I could just give one more meal to someone where they go, wow.
And it's reaching that sort of cruising altitude and then having the awareness to reach down and try to bring somebody up with you.
Absolutely, dude.
That for me has been the most rewarding and proud moments is like, my brother getting a Michelin star, proudest moment of my fucking career. Shit like that.
That's what it's all about when you see that you met that kid and he told you, I have a band. And you just, something in your gut said, I should listen to it.
Yeah.
And you listen
Give
to
him
it.
a shot.
And you go, hey, you got something. And you start to, and then 10 years later, they're buying a house and they're selling out an arena.
So sick.
And they're a real fucking serious guy in the world. They were a serious guy back there. They were just 21 and didn't have, and that's what we do when we pay it forward, when we keep our eyes open. And we see everyone around us doing it. You see people all the time that have built platforms that are for people to enjoy, but also for artists and makers to come and get a shot. And then, and then it's up to them how they carry themselves. And that's a career is like, you do have to carry yourself in a career and you have to cooperate with people. And
It's a good time to be alive.
Yeah.
Well, listen, brother,
Good
thank
hang.
you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
dude,
for
this
being
is
here.
great,
Yeah.
dude.
This was awesome. Super inspiring for me.
Same here, man.
I'm sure people at home have,
great.
Fucking great.
Thank you. Send my love to the family, the
I
wife.
will.
And
You'll
Do
see
it
us
again.
soon, I'm
Do
sure.
it
Yeah.
again sometime.
yeah,
We got to make time for a meal somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do it.
we
Yeah.
should. And next time you guys play Austin, or next time I'm in town, I want to come to the show.
Yeah.
Come get a burger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it.
Both.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, dude.
Thanks,
brother.
Thanks for having me.
That's a wrap on today's episode. Hit subscribe now if you want to follow along. We have some awesome guests lined up that we sit down with. Make sure you follow the Not a Damn Chance podcast on socials at NADC Podcast. We'll see you next week.